Warning, this podcast contains nerdy conversations about superheroes, and it is not intended for children under the age of 35. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, heroes and villains, and welcome to another episode of Super Black. I am your host, Carl Waldron, and this week we're doing a two-part Halloween special. This is part one. We're covering TellTale's video game The Walking Dead and the characters within Clementine and Lee Everett. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past couple years and don't know what The Walking Dead is, let me give you a brief summary. The Walking Dead is a comic book written by Robert Kirkman, and in this comic book, zombies walk around biting people. End of story. But actually, the real meat of the book and the universe, the Walking Dead universe as a whole, is how humans have changed and how we interact with one another based on our individual circumstances. So if you watch the show, you've seen the slow decline of Rick as he becomes this tyrant of sorts, all to protect the people that he loves, while others who haven't been through what he's been through have a different outlook on life and regard him as a very dangerous man. Right? So, in the TellTale Walking Dead game, we are introduced to Lee Everett, a man being carted off to jail for crimes he most certainly committed, but you learn why later on. But and I always felt that was a weird way to introduce Lee, a black man. He's being carted off to jail in the beginning of the game, but that's neither here nor there. It's part of the story. I overlooked it. Doesn't really matter. So, we get to watch the world burn from the eyes of Lee Everett. You take control of Lee and you get to make choices in this new zombie world in how to survive. The most interesting part about Lee's story and your story is that you are put in charge of a young woman, maybe I think she's 8 years old, and her name is Clementine. Clementine is one of the greatest characters ever created in a video game. And I don't think many people, if you've played the game, will argue that point. The reason I make that point is because Clementine serves as the heart of the game, the real emotional core. Once you come in contact with Clementine and take her under your wing as protector, the game becomes less about Lee and more about her and how you are going to protect this young woman. And when you first start the game, you don't think too much about it. You say, okay, it's another game mechanic and I have to get through this game and now I have this little girl. Let's see what happens. As you progress through the game, every choice you make, if you have a heart, becomes driven by how does this affect Clementine. There are portions of the game where you have food and you have to divvy up food for all the survivors. Some people will not get food. Who gets to eat first? Clementine. Obviously. I don't know, of all the friends I've had who played the game, no one has ever said, I did not feed Clementine. I fed that girl first, and if I could have fed her more, I would have. There's something, she's an overly innocent, smart young woman who has lost her parents, and you are the only person around who can take care of her. You become emotionally invested in this character, so much so, this is one of the few game franchises where I almost cried. Almost. A lot of times. And all those scenes had something to do with Clementine. So I feel like Clementine is hands down one of the best characters ever created in a video game. I will debate anybody on the fact. Bring it on. I encourage you. Please go to Twitter and leave a message with Super Black PC and tell me who's a better video game character than Clementine. We can have that debate. We can have it all day, guys. But it's not a digression, but let's get back to Lee. Lee is definitely the hero of the story because he takes care of Clementine. You take care of Clementine, and Lee is your proxy. Lee is a very smart, very well-equipped man who is thrust into the situation just out of the blue and just picks up the reins and says, first and foremost, I have to protect this young woman, and I have to protect myself so that I can protect this young woman, which is awesome. The crux of the game is you are Lee. Your choices are Lee's choices. So if you're like me, I went through the entire game trying to make Lee the nicest, most honest person on planet Earth. I have a problem with lying, especially in video games for some reason. I don't like doing it. I feel like there are consequences in the game that are going to show up if I lie. So I try not to. So my Lee character was the most, I told everybody everything off the bat. There's an opening scene when you first get Clementine where they say, hey, you and your daughter can come with us. There is then an option in the dialogue box to say, this is not my daughter. Yes, we'll come with you. I'm just some guy. I always pick, I'm just some guy. Because damn, I'm not this young girl's father. I just found her. I will not lie to a digital person. I will lie to all of you people out there right now. I will not lie to a fake person in a thing that doesn't exist. My priorities are all messed up. I'm sorry. But my Lee was a very honest man, and I tried to make him as helpful and as super as possible. I tried to make him the model black guy, if that makes any sense. Even if he was anyone else, he could have been anybody else. I would have tried to make him a model citizen. But this is super black, so let's be real. So I went through the entire game, tried to make him as cool as possible, while other people made him a complete and utter ass. And that's a viable option too. The beauty of the game is you craft Lee to be the person you would be, or that you'd want to see in this situation. Whether it's subconsciously, consciously, you make these choices because you have some, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know why you would make these choices. Why am I going down this road? Let's get back to Lee. So Lee does a lot to protect Clementine, and a lot of cool stuff involves him butchering zombies. While Lee does not have superpowers, and this is called Super Black, his ability is to chop up zombies. And I think that's a viable skill. Because if you don't have that skill in that scenario, you're dead. You're not super. Everyone who survives in The Walking Dead is a superhero because they are able to maneuver and survive an onslaught of dead people. You can't say that for many people out there. That's why they're zombies. They succumb. But no, not Lee. Lee thrives, everybody. He thrives on the zombie apocalypse. He becomes a leader of his own group of survivors. People he meets along the way feel like he is the leader, or that you are the leader, and they follow him. The whole game, everyone's asking you what your opinion is, what should we do, and while it is a video game, and if they didn't ask you what you wanted to do, it would be kind of a boring game if you were just taking orders from somebody. Play BioShock to figure out a interesting twist on that. But he is a positive black male lead in a video game, and that's really cool. He's a father figure, he's a leader, and he's a protector, which is really cool. Let me spoil some stuff for the game. So if you plan to play this game, pause the podcast, go play it. And you know what? I don't even want to say, don't pause the podcast, because if you go to play this game, you're never coming back. Let's just put that there. Stick with me. Just listen. Let it be spoiled. It's been a while. So Lee was going to prison in the beginning of the game because he killed his wife's lover. So it was a crime of passion. He killed this dude and he was going to jail. That's why he was getting carted off at the beginning of the game. So while he's a leader and he's positive, and in this new world he's just trying to protect this little girl Clementine and his friends. In the old world, he was a murderer. So I'm conflicted about actually talking about Lee in a positive light, but just stick with me, within the context of the zombie apocalypse. Jeez, this is falling apart quick, isn't it, guys? Within the context of the zombie apocalypse, he is a good guy. If we were to backtrack maybe a week before the game started, we'd be talking about him as a villain. Oh my goodness. This is why I like this podcast, because there's so many layers. It's like peeling an onion, guys. You gotta stick with me. He's a good dude. You know what? He's a good dude because he protects Clementine. How about that? He's an awesome guy because Clementine is super awesome, and you really, really want to make sure she's okay. And the only way to do that is to make Lee a good guy. You can make him a terrible guy and still protect Clementine, and that still makes him an awesome dude. That game has too many facets for me to just call him a bad guy or a good guy. So we'll just say he's awesome. I'm literally lost for words at trying to explain Lee at this point as I think about it. You don't understand it until you say it out loud, that he's actually he's a murderer. He is a murderer. And then he takes his murdering skills to the next level when he butchers zombies when they try to get him or Clementine. In the opening scene, when you first meet Clementine, you have to kill Clementine's babysitter. She is a zombie. And you proceed to bash her face in. When you think about the fact that he has already killed a person who isn't a zombie, was it easy for him to bash that young girl's face in? And he does a lot worse throughout the game. Like he kills a lot of people, or a lot of zombies, and a couple people. So he is a murderer in every sense of the word, and he's proficient at it. You are proficient at it because, again, you're controlling him. Man, I didn't think this is a horror podcast, so it's good that I'm conflicted and he's actually kind of a bad guy. Makes the Octobercast a little sweeter, I guess. Jeez. I'll leave you to make up your mind on Lee. I put the points out there. You make up your mind. I think he's cool. Ugh, I can't even defend it. All right, we'll be right back. Ooh, we're at the break, the Halloween break, part 1 Halloween break. It's delicious. There's pumpkin pie and costumes on the floor. It's perfect. I'm going to shill now. Prepare yourself. Please head over to Twitter and follow us at SuperBlackPC. There you'll see all my little thoughts and machinations and find out what I really think about the new Moon Knight comic. You're intrigued now, aren't you? If you have any trivia or questions, or you want to be a part of the podcast, you can send a message through Twitter or head over to superblack.co/contact. Fill out the form, hit send. I will get it and I will reply. It's that simple, guys. I want to make this a two-way conversation because, to be honest, it's getting a little creepy talking to myself all the time. I'm starting to hear things. Drop me a line and I will sure to get back to you. I look forward to hearing from everybody who's listening to the podcast. I truly, truly thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoy it. Please tell a friend. That'd be great. And let me know what you want to hear from this podcast. I'd love to hear suggestions on topics or guests or what have you. I'm open to everything because, again, this podcast is for you and for me. I like learning about these characters and it's just fun to realize these things. Hopefully, it'll give you some ideas to share with your kids or your friends, and it's a positive experience, and that's all we want here. So, thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the show. You have reached the Super Black Digestible. Today we're talking about Halloween costumes for kids. Ooh, little brown kids. Even better. Let's get right to it. For boys, I have narrowed down my list to 2. And for girls, but I have an extra one for girls. But let's start with the guys. So, for boys, I have chosen as my number 1 pick Sam Wilson as Captain America. Now, if you're a nerd, you know who Sam Wilson is. If you've watched the Avengers movies, you know who Sam Wilson is. But essentially he is the Falcon. In the Avengers movie, he's the guy with the wings, flies around helping Cap look for the Winter Soldier. In the recent comic books, he has transitioned to become Captain America himself. So Sam Wilson is now the Black Captain America with wings. His costume is so unique. It's so interesting. It's an amalgamation of the Captain America's, shield and red, white, and blue outfit. Not so much a shield. Well, yeah, the shield too. And Falcon's wings with Sam Wilson's original headset on. It makes for he cuts a very striking figure, and he's very super comic booky. And I haven't seen any cosplay of it, but if you can dress your kid up in wings and a Captain America outfit, he's going to turn some heads. He is going to turn some heads. That boy is going to be walking down the street, and them nerd girls are going to look over and say, "Is that Sam Wilson as Captain America / Falcon?" And he's going to look and go, "Yep." And they're going to go, "Wow." So if you want your little son to be styling this Halloween, I would say if you have the chops, make it, which makes it even more awesome. If I had some sort of blueprint, I would tell you. I would say get in contact with a cosplayer person or look at tutorial online. But if you can make it, that costume would be sweet. Sam Wilson, Captain America. Look it up, guys. Look it up. You know what? I'll put it in the notes for this episode. And you can just take a look at the costume. See if you like it. Show your son. Say, "Hey, you like this?" And then when he says no, you say, "Well, you're going to be that anyway because I'm paying for the costume. You don't really have a say about it." Unless he's like 18, and then, he'll do it himself because it's that cool, guys. It's that cool. Okay, moving on. My second pick was Finn from Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, the trailer released earlier this week, and while I'm not super excited from the trailer, I am excited that Star Wars is in the hands of a capable director, and the movie actually does look really nice. Finn, while his outfit isn't very unique, it kind of is. Like he wears at least in the trailer, he wears a jacket and slacks. There's a stormtrooper version of him. He's like a toy. He has all these different outfits in the trailers that you can pick from, mix and match. Or if you want to build your own Finn Jedi with blue lightsaber ensemble, I think you can get away with that, and people will understand who he is. Just make sure your son is not bald, or he will come off as Mace Windu, and they'll just say that you gave him the wrong lightsaber. If you put him in the Jedi robes and then give him a blue lightsaber, they'll say, you messed it up, it should be purple. And then that guy's a real nerd. Then you could talk to him and say, look, we're just building Finn, but as a Jedi. And they were like, oh, but what if you did this? And then you make a friend for life. So I'm just trying to find you guys outlets to find more friends. Isn't that what it's all about? I'm looking for friends. This is why I'm doing this podcast. Come on, guys. Let's make a community here. So, number 1, Sam Wilson, Captain America / Falcon. Really, really cool outfit. Will turn a lot of heads in the streets when they see that. Number 2, Finn. You'll probably see a lot of people dressed up as Finn. If you can nail that jacket and blaster ensemble he has in one specific scene in the trailer where he's passing underneath an X-Wing, a pilot walks by, taps him on the shoulder, and he turns around and kind of looks at him for an extended period of time with no emotion on his face, which is kind of weird. Pause that frame and try to recreate that outfit for your kid, and I think you'll be in good standing. All right, boys covered. That's 2 outfit ideas for Halloween. You have a week, people. I didn't want to give you too much. You have a lot to think about. Or you can do, your normal standbys, Ninja Turtles, regular ninjas, maybe a zombie. You could do Lee Everett if you want to just put him in a bloody blue shirt and some jeans. That's an option too. Look at that. I gave you 5 or 6. I can't even remember. Just a lot of options. Let me move on to the girls because the girls cannot be neglected as I pick up my notebook noisily. So my first choice for young woman costume is Monica Rambeau. Oh, if you are unfamiliar with Monica Rambeau, allow me to illuminate your world. Monica is the first black female leader of the Avengers when she was Captain Marvel. She is now called Spectrum. She has a lot of really cool powers and a really interesting outfit. Her more recent outfits I find more interesting. I think one of them is a silver getup with a brown leather jacket over it and a silver headband with dreads. So she has a very unique look. I can guarantee you your daughter will look different than anybody else outside, and she will ask a lot of questions like, who are you supposed to be? And she can stand proud and say, I am Monica Rambeau. I was the first black female leader of the Avengers. Like, how cool is that? Your daughter will know that there are superhero females out there who lead other superheroes. Like, that's a very positive message to pass on, and it gives them someone else to look up to. You know, it's not only princesses. Monica is not she's a warrior. She's strong, and putting her in an outfit like that or modeled after Monica I think is a very positive thing. So that's my number one choice for little female outfits for Halloween. My second is Miss Marvel. I gushed about Miss Marvel in a podcast last month, and her outfit is perfect for little girls. It's perfect. Hell, it was made by a little girl. Well, in the context of the story, she builds her own outfit. It's a skirt with a shirt with the lightning bolt, a cape, and one of those domino masks. It's super easy to pull off. It's very cool, and it's tailor-made for little Muslim girls who, I'm not exactly sure, forgive my ignorance if they're allowed to do Halloween. I don't know. But it's perfect for little brown girls to run around in as Miss Marvel. It's tailor-made for that. And it's a really cool costume. It holds a lot of history. And it kind of keeps in theme with Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. Everything's all interconnected. It seems like Captain Marvel has a lot of positive female role models that kind of come down the line. You know, with Monica and Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan, you got a lot of options in there. So that's my second option for your little lady to go out there. So you have Monica Rambeau and you have Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. That's two. My out of left field comic book character that your daughter can be dressed up as, Amanda Waller. Now, here's the great thing. An Amanda Waller costume is pretty much a suit with a dressy skirt, high heels, and a very short buzz cut. So you have a lot of options because there are versions of Amanda Waller who are thinner, but a lot of the versions of Amanda Waller are huge, just really big women, big, powerful women. Like, she's very strong, but she's also round. So if you have a little round girl, or even if you have a little thin girl and you want to pack her full of stuffing peanuts and have her walk out as Amanda Waller, I think that would be the funniest costume, because it's just a lady in a pantsuit. But if she holds herself with like really gruff and really strong, and maybe she has like I don't know, something from the Suicide Squad, what can she carry to make it very clear that she's the leader of the Suicide Squad? I'm trying to think. Maybe a Joker mask or Deadshot's mask. If you can make Deadshot's mask and have her carried around in her hand, that'd be pretty cool. A Cadmus badge? Maybe the thing you do is you put her name tag, like a security badge that just has your daughter's picture on it, and it says Amanda Waller, head of Cadmus or whatever secret agency you want her to be leader of. I think that would be really cool. But at least Amanda Waller, the name, has to be really big, just so people know that she's just not some weird business suit lady, which she can also pull off. That's fine too. But I think Amanda Waller as an idea, like, you can have a lot of fun with that. You can have, if you have multiple kids, maybe have her be the Amanda Waller and everyone else be the Suicide Squad. I'm shelling out gold here, people. Gold. So those are my quick Halloween ideas for your kids. Hopefully you take some to heart. I would love to see some little kids cosplaying as, or costuming. What is the terminology for Halloween? Is it still cosplaying? I think it is. We'll just call it cosplaying. Sam Wilson or Monica Rambeau. Those are really cool. I think the Amanda Waller idea has a lot of potential. I didn't really get too deep into it, but there's something there with that. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of part 1 of the Halloween special. I want to thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed it. I want you to tell a friend, tell 2 friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister's boyfriend, tell your sister's boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. How about that? That's going deep. I just incepted your entire family. Tell everybody you know is what I'm trying to get at. That Super Black exists, that it's a good podcast, and that you love the host. Make sure you add that last part, because it's crucial to the success of the podcast. At SuperBlackPC on Twitter, superblack.co/contact. Send all your messages and love to me, and I will get right back to you. I swear it. This has been Super Black, and we're out.